Have you ever thought that Medicare would be free? It's not. I just paid $608.70 yesterday for my husband's Medicare premium. The money came right out of my medical bucket. And that's what I want to show you today. Having these buckets can be so helpful. I think Medicare is one of those things that we hear about all our life and kind of figure that once we hit 65 that medical insurance will be sort of taken care of. But Medicare doesn't mean free health care. There are still premiums and other medical expenses that come along with this time frame in your life. In fact, I've discovered that there are a lot of medical expenses that come along after the age of 65. And depending on your coverage and your situation, those costs can look different for different people. So I'm not here to teach you the ins and outs of Medicare because I don't know them. We are certainly learning them as we go. But I do want you to realize that this is an expense that you can plan for. So yesterday, that expense for us was $608.70. And that was for 3 months of coverage. So that's a big enough bill that if you haven't planned for it, it could literally throw off your entire month or more. So you might have to pull money out from somewhere else, you might have to borrow it from someone, or even put it on a credit card. But for us, it didn't disrupt the month at all because the money was already sitting in our medical bucket. Our medical bucket is just part of our Save It bucket. This is where I prepare ahead of time for medical expenses that I know will be coming along. I just don't know when exactly. Instead of waiting until a larger medical expense shows up and then wondering, where am I going to get the money? I put a little money aside every single month. So in this case, I'm putting a little over $200 a month away to cover this expense every 3 months. So when yesterday came, I wasn't trying to find the $608.70. I already knew where it was coming from. And I think this is an important distinction. A bill doesn't have to be unexpected to feel like an emergency. Sometimes we know a bill is coming, but we just aren't financially ready when it gets here. That's one of the biggest things that my buckets have changed in our life. We are not constantly reacting to an expense. We're preparing ahead of time for them. So because that's a huge difference between, oh no, I owe $168, where is it gonna come from? And okay, it's time to pay our $608. So if you're getting close to retirement and you're starting to look at the medical expenses you will have, don't assume Medicare means that there won't be anything to pay, because there certainly is. Find out what your expected costs will be and then start preparing for them ahead of time before they are due. You don't necessarily have to come up with hundreds of dollars all at once, but start putting a little aside every single month. Let it build while you're getting ready for retirement. So yesterday, my bucket did exactly what I created it to do. It wasn't exciting. I didn't get anything amazing with the $608.70, but I was ready. And that's really what I mean when I talk about living the bucket life. Buckets aren't really about money. They're about being ready to live the life you want to live. And sometimes being ready looks like having the money sitting there in an account when the Medicare bill comes due. Remember, tracking is out, buckets are in. I'll keep showing you how I use my buckets in my real life. See you on the next video. Bye-bye.